Welcome back to Signal Path Productions. All right, friends. Today I'm going to be talking about a big topic for myself and for my life, and that is my name, which many of you may have noticed has slightly adjusted since I first started the podcast. And it went from Wesley Crusher, my affinity growing up watching Star Trek, and once I got into crushing beats, making music, kind of adopted that for the production pseudonym. But yeah, my birth name is different from my name, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to go into it. What am I doing? Why you changed your name? What the hell? So, this is a fresh start. This is a way for me to just talk about some fun stuff. Let's do it. And I also want to talk about a bit of the direction of where I envision Signal Path Productions going, and just kind of launch it from there. So, all right, here I am. My name is Justis P Hasler. And yeah, that's a bit of adjustment, huh? It used to be Andreas Wesley Adams. Now, there's some family of mine, personal family, my father, sister, brother-in-law. Not quite totally clear, sure, on why, how, or what, or even if it's appropriate. But let's talk a little bit about what the name change actually is, what it means to me, and where it comes from and why. So, my mother, she changed her full name, and my mother's husband changed their full name. And the idea is that when you're born on a day, and a place, on Earth, at a certain time, and all of those elements combine to create a birth chart, if you will, based on numerics. And it sounds a bit woo-woo, sounds a bit floofy. Perhaps it is. You know, this basically, like, my birth chart number based on numerics is a 358. 8 is my life path, if you will. This suggests that I am somehow an entrepreneur. I am someone that is a leader, takes action, clear, decisive, all these pretty great qualities that I don't actually seem to have in my life. So I'm wondering, like, oh, how the hell is that my birth path? Well, apparently, your name, each letter in the name holds a numeric content value, which aligns to your birth chart. And sometimes, I guess the theory is that your name will not align with your actual potential and where you're going. One thing that I find really fascinating about this whole name thing is that the initial name report, when I went into it, about Andreas Wesley Adams, which apparently doesn't align to my birth chart, is that I tend to work really hard, and I'm very good and very successful at doing what I do, and I get to almost a level of mastery. But somehow all of that hard work and the culmination of that time and energy gets passed along, and someone else takes the credit for it. And not necessarily takes the credit for it, because lots of things that I've done are due to the credit of other people. Do not get me wrong. A similar thing happened to me with music and teaching and helping, people produce and mix, and then like bumping them up and getting them connected in a community. And then I just kind of float along, and then they grow and blow up and boom. And, similar things with sewing. I just have this pattern that seems to be what I do. So the interesting thing with the name is, with Justis P Hasler, that doesn't happen. The work and the energy that I put in and my own entrepreneurial spirit is maintained, and I get the credit for it. And then I get to pass that inspiration and that passion along. So already I'm noticing an incredible difference in my boundaries, being able to hold and respect boundaries, and having the strength to communicate them without feeling like I'm being a floppy little flop. So yeah, there's some actual tangible process that I'm experiencing, and it seems to be for the better. So let's just go. Let's go. So what I'm using is the Kabalarian philosophy, which is an ancient mathematical traditional philosophy that takes into account the numerics of our names and why that's so important, and lines it with our birth chart and our actual potential. So again, it sounds woo-woo, is based on mathematics, but it's also based on concepts of, a spirituality or a direction of taking control of one's life and going from there. So it's a bit interesting. So yeah, my mom went ahead. She changed her name over 2 years ago now, and she's been recommending and kind of encouraging me to explore the idea. And I've been very apprehensive for a long time, even though I did change my first name a long time ago from Andrew to Andreas. So I've been open to a name change and the concept and idea, but Andreas was gifted to me and is the same name as Andrew, has the same root meaning, strong masculine, man strong, manly. Totally not what I am. Okay. But no, nonetheless, it was a bit of an easier transition. It also happened when I was around 15 or 16. So I've been going by Andreas for many years, and yeah, that's been fine. But now here it is, not just changing my first name, but this is to change my entire name. And I went through a list, and this might sound really funny or ridiculous, but as I'm reading the name report and going through, one thing that I've always valued in my life is the steadfast, balanced idea of justice and the fairness and value or lack of fairness and value in life. And it's always been really important to me to be integral, to be clear, to be transparent, and to hold justice for those in my life and around me. And so when I saw the name Justis come up in the name report, I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I decided to play around with it. I've got a new job. I've been introducing and embodying justice. And it's honestly unbelievable. The change and difference of how people look at me, how I interact with people, my posture, how I hold myself. Suddenly things are lining up for me. And it might sound like magic or woo-woo. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Whatever it is, it's a tangible difference that I can feel in my body and outside my body. And that's pretty incredible. I don't know how else to break that down. So I'm so far pretty much like on the path. So Justis Hasler in the house. You might ask what the P stands for in between. Justis P Hasler. That is Justis P Hasler. Now I've been through a wide diversity of bullshit in my life, and I have a lot to share. I have a lot of stories that have helped me become strong and integral in who I am. And this kind of leads into where I want to go with the podcast too, because I don't want this to just be about music and production, skateboarding, and random little videos. I really have something to offer to this world, and I have conversations that I want to have with other people. And that's where Justis P Hasler comes in, because I can actually take this step now without feeling like I'm some flimsy from the past, or looking at different parts of my own history and feeling like I'm either failing myself or being an imposter in some way, because I do have a lot of life experience and I have a lot to share. So where do I want to go with this podcast? Where do I want to go with this name? What is the deal? I do want to have conversations. I want to have conversations on critical race theory. I want to have conversations on the woke community, different forms of language that people are using now, which I think is actually dividing us and tearing us apart. I want to talk about the beautiful, diverse communities that have been a part of my life, from mentors, teachers, family and friends, trans, not trans, binary, not binary, all in between, and my love and my admiration and my goal to create an authentic sense of equality between these communities and these peoples and myself as a white, straight male. Canceled. Right? So these are just some kind of ideas, some concepts that I have, but I really want to even expand more. I want to talk and have conversations with people. I want to interview people who have ideas that differ from mine, so I can gain perspective and understanding, and I can learn to listen to other ideas. I want to also share my own ideas without intruding or imposing them onto other people. Just giving someone another perspective, another frame of reference to look at a certain situation that might be going on. I don't want to get too much into politics on the show, but I do want to touch base on how some of those politics are integrating into our modern society and how social media and different narratives are being woven through algorithms with or without our consent. I think these conversations are very important to have, and Justis is the one to have those conversations. So, Signal Path Productions has a lot more to offer than the niddly details of music production, art, but let's take it into more culture, more drawing. I've done some crazy stuff. I have 2 industrial sewing machines in this room out there where I built teepees, yurts, backpacks, all sorts of crazy weird gear, whether it's for ceremonies or just art projects and aesthetics and fashion. I have a great depth of knowledge of seed to cup experience, roasting, profiling. I can go into a lot of that. I would love to parallel that concept with Signal Path Productions and how I view the seed to cup experience as a metaphor of what the audio signal path is. That talks a little bit about the name of Signal Path Productions. Maybe I could do that right now. No, I'm not going to go in there right now. This is already too long-winded. But I do want some feedback from other people. If you do end up making it through this whole video, listening to this whole monologue ramble, and there's anything that actually catches your ear, ideas that you have for me that you think would be interesting, that I should explore. I do want to get into some fun, crazy places like aliens, ancient cultures, anthropology, more like cultural heritage stuff. There's lots of great, amazing things that I just want to explore. My grandfather who passed away, my papa, whose watch I'm wearing here, he's someone who's studied the Bible and read it over 6 times over, like start to finish. But funny enough, also believed in aliens and other cultures and technologies, and was gifted me my first book from Zachariah Sitchin when I was in grade 8. So I've been exploring some pretty unique concepts for the majority of my life, and I've had some great role models and some great people to bounce some of these ideas off of. So I want to continue those conversations, but maybe make it a little bit more public. One other idea that I have for the podcast, and I haven't engaged it yet because people don't really know me yet, but one idea is to do kind of a video log autobiography kind of series, where I do a series of a couple of videos that explores different parts of my past, where I can tell some of those stories to give you, the listener, the audience, and my friends, more of an opportunity to connect to who I am, where I come from, my background, and maybe that will give a broader, bigger understanding about why I'm coming with some of these ideas, why I want to do some of these podcasts, and if there's even merit or value in me hosting that. Because who the hell is this dude, you know? So maybe that short form autobiography series would be a good way to create a little bit more authenticity and connection with you guys, girls, and everyone in between. And maybe that would help create a bit of a foundation and understanding to why and how I can actually talk about these, or if I even have some sense of authority to talk about them or experience in them. I am 33 years old. I've grown up, kind of not necessarily pre-internet, but as technology was developing. So I do have a very unique, connected history of my past, which is also very wild and different from other people of my age in that time. So don't worry, it's not unique and different just because I didn't have a freaking cell phone when I was 10 years old, but unique and different in the fact that, I had a trans mentor for 6 years of my life that was the most amazing man I've ever known and still is, and has played a huge role in who I am today, and that I've gone through a men's initiation into manhood, going through men's work, understanding when I was 18 and 19, like, oh, who am I? Where am I going? What does it mean to be a man? there's so many questions that I had, and maybe if I talk about these stories, there could be something of value from other people that they could get from it just from listening. Because I've gone through struggles. We've all gone through struggles. We all struggle in life. And sometimes if we don't share those stories and we don't share those differences in how we came to be who we are, then the people who need to hear some of the solutions or some of the experiences won't get to hear it because we're not sharing. So that's what Signal Path Productions is. I want to really take it further. I want to go deeper. I want to connect into that real human element. And that's it. So Justis P Hasler in the house. I'm going to wrap it up for now. I hope that's not too long-winded. If you made it through, I love y'all. Smash that like, smash that subscribe, and I will see you soon.